Yo, what's up, everybody? It is your boy Slim, aka Mr. Different, back with another video. Today, we're gonna be looking at the Arturia V Collection number 6, just their update from their previous V Collection 5, which I've done a review on. If you want to check that out, I'll put a link in the description below or a card up top where you can go check that out. It's pretty much a collection of dope vintage modeling synthesizers from digital to analog. Even got some instrument models in there as well, like pianos and stuff like that. It was a very dope, set of plugins that I really like, for a very affordable price. I say it was a very affordable price. You got like a ton of stuff. Now they just upped the ante and added in 4 new synthesizers. And they revamped the Analog Lab. So it's Analog Lab 3 now, which is basically the collection of all of the presets for all the plugins. Again, nose ran a little bit getting sick. So yeah, we're gonna take a look at the new plugins. And I can look at the old stuff. Like I said, I did a video of all the old plugins. They did upgrade like the RAM, like CPU usage, the scaling of it, so you can scale it to 4K and all that. Some of them have better, like I said, better usage of your computer and CPU, RAM, and all that. So they play a lot better. You can have more instruments on screen. Basically, little stuff to the old stuff. But like I said, we're gonna take a look at the brand new stuff as well. So check my video out if you want to see any of the old plugins as well. And also you can check out Arturia's website where I put the link in the description below. We check out all of these synthesizers. Like I said, all these synthesizers right here and pianos is what you get inside of the bundle. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So like I said, they already got Analog Lab 3, which the previous was Analog Lab 2. Analog Lab 3 has a new UI. It looks a lot sleeker, a lot cleaner. It's great for if you just want the presets of all the VSTs. If you don't want all the VSTs, you can buy Analog Lab 3 and get all 6,000 something presets from each and every last instrument they make. Just the presets, and it has slight stuff you can tweak to it, slight knobs you can tweak to it. Of course, it's hooked up to my to my keyboard as well. I gotta link it up to my Mini Lab keyboard, so you see it's mapped on there as well, which is pretty cool. And yeah, just pretty nice. It's got a nice, like I said, easy to search stuff, easy to make presets. You can do combinations. You can do, you can pretty make multi-patches and all that. And, it just has everything. It also shows you what the VST that you're using too as well over there. And, pretty good. And like I said, if you have the actual plugin, you can actually click here and actually view inside the instrument, which I have the instrument, so I can click, the edit button and it'll bring up the instrument and I can edit all the parameters. So yeah. Pretty cool, Analog Lab 3. So let's get to the actual new plugins right now. That's what you guys want to see. So first off, we're going to start off with the brand new semi-modular plugin, the Buchla ESO V, which is pretty interesting right now. So as you see, it is a semi-modular synthesizer. What a modular synth is, basically, if you ever seen modular synths, it's some crazy little blocks or squares. You can plug and patch anything with all the cables going all over the place. Modular synthesis is very fun, very unique, very difficult to understand, but it gets a crazy unique sound. This is a semi-modular system, which means it has a specific path like a regular synthesizer. Where I go, ADSR, oscillator, blah, blah, blah. But you can also patch in different patch points to get creative new sounds. I'm not going to go into detail about none of this. This is just an overview, so keep that in mind. I'm just going to show you the basic layout and then play some sounds through it so you can hear it. That's about it. But yeah, very unique, interesting. Like I said, I think this synthesizer, if you buy one for real, costs about $4 grand or more, something like that. Yeah, very expensive, but it's great to see it in VST form. It's very unique. As you can see, it has different, it looks crazy at first, but it gets pretty simple if you understand. Like, you got your different oscillators, oscillator types, you got modulation, you got a step sequencer over here, your output, your filters, your frequencies, your attack, sustain, to release, stuff like that. Very simple. Your keyboard out here, of course, to play your sounds. And then some other little timbre controls. And then you got your patch points, which I said you can just grab one and then patch it in somewhere else. Wherever it's highlighted red is where you can patch it into. And, do some crazy patching and all that. And you can rearrange the patch and you see the cable follows, which is pretty unique as well. So, and also, if you bring down the little triangle right here, the double triangle, you get the more section, which I love this about every instrument that Arturia makes. It gives you more control. So you got left hand, right hand functionality, which I guess is like, you can change the timbre and the loops and all that. You can modulate different parameters just by clicking it, keyboard gates and all that, which is pretty interesting. It has this gravity modulate XY modulation thing, which is just crazy. I might play around with that, but basically, you can select these little points and it automatically does XY, modulation. So depending on what you set. So if I set the X destination to the pulse, and then the attack rate, I guess. They just do some crazy stuff right there, and it's just fun to play around with. You got little things that block it, and you can just you can just make some crazy sounds and some crazy XY modulation stuff. I have to go into detail about that later soon. So yeah, that's pretty much a little overview. And I also got the effects, of course. You got chorus, overdrive, delay, analog delay, which is great, destroy, parametric EQ, compression, reverb, bypass, your standard stuff when it comes to effects. So let's go ahead and look into some of the presets and move on. Let's start with some bass, of course, because modular synths are great for bass. Your standard modular bass sound. And my keyboard is a little bit delayed because I got the buffer size set to a high as hell. Crazy pulsating stuff. Some old school bass sounds. Got keys. I don't know what kind of key that is. And then some pads. So overall, this is a very good instrument. It's very complex in a sense, but it can be very simple as well. Like I said, that's the Dx7 V from Arturia. Definitely dope semi-modular stuff right there. Let's keep moving on. Next is the Clavinet V, which is a clavinet emulation. If you know what a clavinet is, if you heard anything from Stevie Wonder and people of that era, that funk type of music, clavinets. It's an iconic sound. I don't own a clavinet plugin, so it's great to have one. Very standard plugin, as you see. It just got the clavinet where you can do, different timbres to change the voice, the sound of the actual instrument. You got your amp right here, so you can actually change the amp sound. So you got the mids, bass, brightness. You got some reverb, some intensity, stuff like that. Some very cool stuff. Then you got pedals down here, which can be changed by clicking the little label, and you can change the pedals. You got flanger, phaser, chorus, delay, compression, overdrive, and vocal filter, which you get the vowel sounds. Hold on. Man, I hate the wintertime so bad. But yeah, very standard stuff, kind of like the E-piano collection and stuff like that they had. It's basically got the same layout, but if you click the double arrow, you do get the under the hood stuff. You get it under the hood. You can change like the string resonance, the tuning, the hammer noise, the actual noise of the instruments, because some of the instruments are kind of noisy, so they modeled the noise, which is pretty cool. The harmonic profile, so you change the harmonic profile, dark, soft. Change the dark. Get some very cool sound right there. That's actually great for some R&B. And you have your ADS, your velocity curve right there as well. So yeah, that is the clavinet. It's not really nothing special about this because it's an instrument model. But I'll play a few of the presets they got built into it, because they got some interesting ones. Let's say, try this one. This is experimental. That's great for some Travis Scott type stuff, dark stuff. Very dope. Standard stuff, funk, right? I'm not a keyboardist, so please don't judge. Not really a piano player, so yeah. But anyway, that's the Clavinet V. Very cool, very interesting. It's great to have this sound added in there because I said it just adds on to like the E pianos and stuff like that. They get some very unique sounds. I can see this using R&B and stuff like that. Let's turn off that damn pedal noise because it's gonna drive me crazy. All right, next is probably my favorite one. I'm gonna skip this one, but go to my favorite one, the Dx7 V, which is a Yamaha Dx7 recreation. I've been wanting to have this instrument. I've been wanting one of these instruments for a while. Yamaha Dx7 is one of the most iconic. I won't say it's not the first, but it's one of the most popular is FM synthesizers. It definitely was in the early stages of FM synthesis, but this was the most popular, and you can hear this on countless tracks back in the 70s and 80s, if I'm not mistaken. Great sounding instrument. Most of you guys might think it's cheesy sounding, but it just has some iconic sound into it. So, you know, as you see, it's basically got the same kind of layout as it. Very simple. You got your little algorithm selection because it used to have different algorithms you can select. You got your cutoff, your mod level, envelope ROM, I don't know that envelope RM, tuning, transpose, AM, and stuff like that. Simple stuff. You got the portamento, of course. You can add some glide to it, feedback, an arpeggiator. That's the simple stuff on the hood. So, you know, it looks very basic. You're probably thinking, like, well, how do I really do anything? Well, the good thing about this, they took it a step further where if you press down a double arrow, you get all the features to create your own sounds with this. That's what makes this probably one of the best emulations of this plugin because you can actually create your own sound like a regular synthesizer. So you have all 5 or all 6 operators or oscillators. If you know anything about FM8, you'll be right at home, or FM synthesis, basically the same thing. You get to choose your oscillator by clicking it, and it'll go to that parameter, of course. You got your oscillator type, so you got different type of oscillator shapes. So you got additive sounds, TX-A1Z sounds, which I don't know what that is. And you got your classic sound, your classic waves, of course, because you know what it is. You select one of those. You can invert it. You can detune it. You can have a fixed ratio or ratio. So ratio or fixed. So you can actually have, like, you know, if you know anything about FM synthesis, how you can change your ratios and your rates and all that. Be right at home. You have oscillator sync. You have pitch EG, which I think is, I don't know, I have to look into that. Then you got your ADSR right here, as you can see, right up on point. Your level scaling, which I'm not messing with that. Then you got your filter types. So you got different filter types: low pass, band pass, high pass. You got 3 different ones. Have a keyboard track or keyboard follow, the cutoff, and the resonance, of course. With that, feedback for the out, so you can, you know, because you can feed back into oscillators, which is great. And you have the global pitch bend, portamento, or monophonic, polyphonic, and then you have the desync, I guess, resolution, DCA resolution, which you have vintage sound, like the old sound of it, so it's kind of out of tune here and there. Or you can have it more modern sounding where, you know, things are more a little bit stabler. Cool. Then you got your envelope, which shows you all of the operators envelopes overlaid with each other, so you can kind of adjust them to get them sound just the way you want to. It's pretty cool. You got your mod matrix, of course. You have a modulation matrix, which has up to 24 different modulation points. As you can see, you set your type, what you want to modulate with whatever, and that's pretty cool. So that's basic FM synthesis stuff right there. If you know anything about that, you have a sequencer, which is great to have. And you have the envelopes, which is also nice. And then you have the effects, which the original I don't think came with effects, but you have a ton of effects to add to it, from phaser, flanger, analog delay, same as everything else. Simple effects. And yeah, you can have them actually go in one path or in serial, which is pretty cool. And yeah, pretty cool. It just it pretty much takes the DX7 and takes it to a whole nother level. Another thing I like about this is that it has all these presets that are really dope. All these presets right here are brand new presets that Arturia made. Anything with ROM beside it is basically it's them recreating the original sounds from the DX7. So yeah, so let's just go ahead and play some of it so you can hear what it sounds like. That's a classic DX7 sound right there. And also you can change the actual the algorithm or how everything goes, interact with each other. So you got up to 32 or 30 something of these, and it changed the sound up dramatically. Well, that didn't really do nothing. Start hearing that FM synthesis sound. you can actually create a sound and then go through these different like paths and then get a completely different sound. Go to a new sound. It's a classic sound. I can already tell you this was one that's gonna get the most mileage out of me. The Dx7 V definitely is. It's my favorite one out of all 4 of them. Just the one I'm gonna be using the most, just because I would want a Dx7, but they took it to another step, to a step further. So now we're just waiting for them to do some more classic stuff out there. That'll be pretty interesting as well. There's some Korg stuff and all that they could do as well. That would be pretty interesting also. So yeah, the Dx7 V. Last but not least is the CMI V, which I think is the Fairlight CMI, which is a very expensive unit. It's a sampler. And it's very expensive. I think most Fairlight instruments can go anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000. You know, even more than that. I know I heard one was sold for like damn near close to $1 million because it was so rare. But basically, it was the unit was a keyboard, a computer. Basically, synthesizers used to be computers back in the day. Just to do the function we got today, like in software and all that hardware, they used to have their own separate computers just to run them. They used to put off a lot of heat and all that. But basically, this is a sampler. That's all it is. So you can actually import your own samples into this, which is really interesting, which I like. As you see, you got the keyboard down here, very basic controls here. There's nothing here pretty special, just filters, samples, stuff like that, dampening on that. Also, you can type on the keyboard. It's pretty cool. But once you click the screen, or up here, it don't really matter, you get to the whole sampler part, which has different sampling modes. You got the sound portion, which you can do all your vibrato, portamento, pitch bend. You can mess with different effects or with different samples. You can layer your samples, of course, and you can, load samples in there, which is amazing. And you could actually pick your, where you want the loop points to end, all that good mess. Really make the sample sound good. You got time sampling, which I need to play around with that, which will be very interesting if I play around with it, see what it is. And you have spectral sampling. So basically kind of like a regular synthesizer where you can pick your different wave type. I put like wave table. What is this? And you can change like the center, the spread, the bias, stuff like that, the fundamental boost, change the tuning of it, the envelope, the vibrato, and the pitch bend, the portamento, of course. So I think it actually bends time. Stuff like that, which is pretty cool. Also in the sampler, I forgot to show you got a 2D and a 3D mode. Interesting to look at, so you can see your stuff in a 3D spectrum, and then you can follow whatever. Go to your edit. You can edit stuff in here. Like I said, you got the sample rate, so you change the sample rate up. You got the conversion to synthesis, that's kind of cool. You can actually convert this to synthesis. Oh, cool. So if you do that, so it takes your sample and makes it into a wave table. Interesting. Did not know that. Now I know. Knowing is half the battle. Back to the computer. You need the computer version. Is back to. Okay. I'm gonna play with this some more. That's very interesting. That's very cool. Edit stuff. You got your assignment, which crazy little matrix over here, which has all kind of stuff, key mapping and all that. MIDI control switches. Your functions, which I think, let's see, time center, ring modulation. the re-triggers mode. I mean, my bad. You got loop run. So it can loop. It can run by itself. It can do one shot. And yeah, that's just pretty much messing around with that. Your browser, of course, you can browse all your different samples, as you can see. And there are a shit ton of them. And you can also, like I said, you can also import your own samples as well. And then you can actually start with an init preset, if I'm not mistaken. If it's not here, it should be a init one somewhere. If not, you can just delete the original sound and then, you know, add your own sound as well, which is very interesting. Like I said, you can just go right here, find the sound, boom. And you got a preview. You got a sequencer, of course. So sequencer, have fun with that. A mixer, which, you know, since you got different samples, you can load up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 samples, as you can see. And then the tone mapping, which you can, you know, do keyboard splitting and stuff like that. So you can have one sample play low, one sample play higher, two samples play in the middle. You can do some cool like keyboard splitting stuff right there. Let's see. I didn't really spend too much time with this one right here myself because it's not one I'll probably be using a lot, but it might be interesting to some of you guys. But to me, I'm not really gonna be using this one too much. But yeah, that is that. So let's go ahead and play some of these sounds so you guys can hear. So let's go through it. Okay, yeah, you can do sequence too. Dope. So yeah, that's the CMI V. Like I said, it's one I'm gonna have to look into more myself because I don't know if I'm gonna be using this that much, but it's there for any guys who like to use samples and stuff like that, or do some crazy stuff with samples. There you go, have fun right there. So yeah, that was all for the new plugins, all 5 technically. You count Analog Lab V3. That was all the plugins right there. Very great. Let's say my 2 favorite would have to be the Dx7 and the Buchla. They're probably the 2 that are gonna get the most out of my usage. The clavinet's very interesting as well. I can do some crazy dark kind of trap stuff with that. The CMI V, I don't know if I'm gonna use too much, but it's there, and it's great to see they're added in a sampler into this, you know, into their lineup of synthesizers. So it does give more dynamics. So you got pianos, samplers, synthesizers, you got everything. It's great to see that digital and analog stuff. Overall, a great bundle, and it's keep on growing. I can only imagine what, you know, collection 7 is gonna have. I think it's gonna have even more, so I can't wait for it. I love this version. It's great. I highly recommend getting it if you want a bunch of analog sounds and you don't want to spend a lot of money, because they did actually reduce the price of their whole total bundle. So go to website right now and see that as well. Check it out. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy. Like always, I want to say shout out to the guys at Arturia for sponsoring this video. As always, you know, Arturia have been great to me, and I love Arturia for the things they do for me and my channel, and I love their products straight up. Not saying that because they help me out, but because their products are the shit, and I love it. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy. Like always, you know who it is. Your boy Slim, aka MrDifferent, not motivated by the money, but the like, comment, subscribe, and views. And with that being said, hope you guys enjoy like always, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, everybody.